What's up guys, it's Nicole, also known as Nikki Vegan, and as a vegan, I eat a lot of pasta with red sauce. It's usually the thing that I can get at non-vegan restaurants that they can easily veganize for me, so I eat that a lot, plus I just make it a lot because I personally really like it. But this recipe today is so much more than just your basic pasta with red sauce. This is actually a recipe from Giada de Laurentiis that I have veganized. I've made it a little bit lower in fat, and it is so flavorful. It's deceptive because it does look like pasta with red sauce, but if you're a Parmesan cheese lover, you are going to love this recipe. So without further ado, let's get started. So we are going to add tons of flavor to this sauce with 4 cloves of garlic. And something that I love about this recipe is you don't really have to chop up the garlic nice and small because we're going to blend this later on. So you just give it a smash and throw it into the pan along with 1 carrot that is also roughly chopped. And I just saute that with a bit of water for about 5 minutes to soften it up. Then we're gonna add our next layer of flavor, which is 1 teaspoon of dried oregano, 1 teaspoon of sea salt, and about 1/8 of a teaspoon of red pepper flakes. You can do more if you want to spice your sauce, or you could do less if you don't like spice at all. But I find that a good amount, a couple pinches, is gonna really act as kind of a nice balance for all the flavors that we add later on. And then again, just saute this until all of the water is absorbed and the carrots and the garlic are nice and soft. It should already smell very good in your kitchen at this point. Then I'm gonna add 2 cans of tomato sauce just directly from the can into the pot. And then we're gonna add a nice depth of flavor and richness by adding 1 heaping tablespoon of tomato paste. Now this is gonna give the impression that this sauce has been kind of simmering away and cooking slowly on your stovetop all day long, even though it comes together in about 15 minutes. So this is a great little thing to have on hand. I like to keep these tubes, which cost about $2 or $3 from the grocery store. I just keep them in the fridge and I add them to tons of sauces and chilies and stews and curries, because again, it adds that really nice depth of flavor, and it's great for when you're busy and you don't have time to let things sit and cook all day. Then another secret ingredient I have is a tablespoon of maple syrup, and this is not going to make this sauce sweet at all. This is a very savory sauce, but what it does is it kind of balances the acidity from the tomatoes and the tartness from the tomatoes. So again, it's going to give the impression that this sauce has been simmering away and cooking all day long, even though it hasn't. Then because this is a Parmesan pomodoro, we are going to add some vegan Parmesan. This is the Violife Parmesan, and you need about 3 large cubes. This is about a 1-inch cube, and I will put the measurements for the shredded Parmesan, if that's the one that you can find, because that one's a little bit more accessible, I think. I'll put the measurements for that in the description box below. Then you're gonna let that melt into the sauce and finish this with about 10 basil leaves directly into the pot, and then I cover this and let it simmer for about 5 or 10 minutes. Then we're just going to transfer this mixture to a blender, and this is why you don't really have to worry about chopping up your garlic or your basil before putting it into the saucepan, because the blender is going to do all the work for you. So just blend that for a few seconds, and then we transfer that back into the pot, and as you can see, it turns into this really nice silky smooth sauce. The final secret ingredient for this sauce is 1/2 cup of the cooking liquid from your noodles. And you guys have probably seen me do this in videos before, because what it does is it really helps thicken up the sauce and it creates a really nice texture in your sauce, but this is actually gonna help double for a lower fat alternative for the butter and the olive oil that Giada puts in the original recipe. So at this stage in the original recipe, she put in some butter and olive oil to help bind the sauce together, make it really nice and silky smooth, and give it a nice velvety sheen. But if you use pasta liquid instead, that is going to have a little bit of starch in it from the noodles, so it has a similar effect. It's going to bind everything together and create a really nice silky smooth richness that you can get without having to add all that extra fat. So that's a great little hack for any sauce, but it's especially for this one, so don't forget that last step. Then you're going to go ahead and just drain your pasta noodles and stir them all together. And these are a great little shape too, because they kind of scoop up all the sauce. They're called orecchiette noodles, which means little ear. And I thought it was appropriate because actually I remember learning that from Giada de Laurentiis' show when I was a teenager watching the Food Network. So I thought they were the perfect noodle to use for this. This is 1/2 a box of pasta, and I'm just gonna stir that together, let it cook into the sauce for just a couple minutes, and then it's ready to serve. I like to finish this with a little sprinkle of vegan Parmesan cheese and some fresh basil on top, and I usually serve this with a side salad or something like roasted broccoli. Really anything green on the side of this pasta pairs really well, and because this is only like a 15-minute meal, it's definitely something you can treat yourself to on a busy weekday, but it's also a little bit fancy and decadent enough to have when you have friends or family over because of that vegan Parmesan that we cooked into this sauce, and because of those herbs, it makes it a little bit extra special, and it will definitely surprise your guests who are just expecting a regular old tomato pasta. This is not that. This is something different, and I think you guys are gonna love it. Alright guys, that's it for this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you happen to follow Giada de Laurentiis or the Food Network on Instagram or Facebook, please leave them a comment and let them know about my video, because I would love if Giada saw this video, just because I'm a huge fan of hers. I've been watching her for years and years. My high school boyfriend and I used to watch the Food Network in high school, like during the summer when everyone was out doing cool things. We were watching the Food Network and going to the grocery store and making things. So I've been watching her forever. I'm a really big fan, and it would just be really cool if she saw this veganized recreation of one of her recipes. So please help me spread the word. That would mean a lot to me. And if you guys recreate this recipe at home, I would love to see. So make sure you tag me on Instagram before you dive into that pasta, and I will check it out. Hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you later. Bye.